Okay. Hi, it's me, Pippi Lawn Stomping. I'm here doing a little walkthrough speedrun guide for Monument Valley 2. So, actually the first thing you want to do is reset your game. We'll get started here. Now I've got the volume pretty low. As it just said there, it's recommended to have sound on, and I think that's true for speedrunning as well here. Just because there are a lot of audio cues in this game. They're pretty important. So yeah, don't expect this to be perfect, because I'm just sort of going to be walking and talking and trying to explain things as we go. So you'll start time as soon as you start moving here, so... Most of this run is a very straightforward kind of thing. So we have this little intro logo that unfortunately we can't skip. So we'll have cutscenes in this, which unfortunately we can't skip, but everyone loves cutscenes, right? Tapping on those little buttons that end the level, it takes a second for it to actually go through, but pretty much as soon as it shows up on screen, just start tapping on it. Same with these levels. Yeah. Very straightforward. Just tap here to get through the little intro card. Just tap forward. It takes a second, pretty much in every chapter, for things to actually start happening. But you know, it's always best to just start tapping as soon as possible. Same thing here after this cutscene. It takes a little while after they let go of each other, but you can just start tapping here, and there it is. For whatever reason, it takes a little while. I tried to record this before, but I found the audio was a bit too loud. It's not too quiet here, but... So this first button, I want to show you what's called a tap back, or at least what I call a tap back. Depending upon, how it originated with Monument Valley 1, I started running Monument Valley with Monument Valley 2, so yeah, the terminology, I don't know if I'm carrying it through correctly, but essentially as we come up here, I'm going to tap back onto the platform just as we're reaching the button there. For whatever reason, I find it a little more consistent just to tap onto the this tile for whatever reason than this one. Or at least this is always how it ends up. The backup for this, as this, I can show you with this little drawing. This tower here, as this is still coming up, and even if you're just standing on this button still, you can still tap back a little earlier than the tower comes up here. So, you know, essentially it would still be coming up. It wouldn't quite be finished. It kind of bounces, but you can still start moving backwards before that. So that's the backup strat, essentially. It is a bit faster just to get the tap back as soon as you hit the button. Oh, I don't know why we're moving forward now. You can also, there are some cases where you can tap back and it supposedly makes the scene transitions or the movement of objects take a little bit less time to happen. I don't know exactly how that works or exactly which ones it works on. Not really my forte. I think that's more from Monument Valley 1. So if you were to check out that guy, it might explain them a bit better, but I don't know. So coming up here, we're going to start tapping. It's essentially right across here is this first button. Or rather, the furthest tile right here, and that's pretty consistent there. Pretty straightforward. Now there is something you can do as you're turning these. I'm not particularly good at it, but if you check out some runs by others, they're a bit better. Leftist Tachyon has a run of chapter 2, that's this chapter, that shows it really well. But that's the idea there. You sort of tap as you're turning, and that just sort of gets you moving a little bit faster. And same idea with this part here, right? As we're turning this piece, after we've hit this button, this little tower here with the ladder is going to start moving up, but it kind of bounces as it reaches the top. So what you need to do is, first of all, tap on that tile, get her moving there, after you've got the little rotation platform here in the right spot. Then you want to tap down on here as the ladder is coming up. The general idea is to just try and keep moving. You don't want to stop as much as you can help it. Okay, and of course you want to start moving as soon as you can, so it's best to tap right here. I'm still going to keep tapping. I was a little bit off there, but usually if you're tapping in that doorway in the last section there, if you just keep tapping there, you'll be tapping right about here. And that'll start you moving in this section a little bit faster than when it's actually more visible, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah. For these ghosts, you just want to tap the continue button very quickly. There's still a bit of downtime, but just keep tapping. We don't actually have to tap here to keep moving. It's just a cutscene, but we do end time as soon as Rose stops moving there. Or rather do your splits. That's how we do it for consistency. Most levels end when you reach a pedestal, so even though in later levels you do have to draw a mandala, we don't actually count that as part of the segment, right? Even in the last level, as soon as you reach the pedestal, the run's done. So you can take as long as you want drawing that last mandala. First part's very straightforward. Tapping up there, up here. One thing you really want to avoid is doing stuff like this, right? Because now they're separated, and if I try to go through the door, she's not going to do it. She's going to be like, hey, you're stuck back there. So we want to move them up. Try to do that very quickly. You should be able to do it without them stopping. Right? So they're just going to get on there, and then I'm going to go here. And they may have stopped for a hot second, but yeah, that's more or less ideal. The less stopping, the better. Keep that movement going. This, oops, and this one I tend to have trouble with. Generally with these movable objects, you want to be able to just get a feel for it, because they all feel kind of different from each other. So that could be an issue. I'm actually going to restart this part of the level real quick. But yeah. Soon. So yeah, it's a matter of, I got it a little better that time. Trip you up. So you would have seen Rose sort of jumped forward for a moment there. That's because I was tapping forward as she was about to cross onto that tile that triggers the cutscene. That would get things just moving a little bit faster. Even, I think that one makes that cutscene move a bit faster. So I'm sort of just going autopilot here, but as you saw, you have to pull that platform up, and then it falls down, and pretty much immediately, as soon as it's fallen, you can slide it right back, right? And you can start moving it up again. I mean, you can sort of see it moving up. There's a staircase right here. You have to wait for that to fall down. Just a moment after it falls down, you can start pulling it up. And then you want to tap on there quick, and it's going to fall over. You're going to want to slide that down real quick and start tapping again. It's pretty hard to do that part very quickly for whatever reason. It's just a little awkward to, come down here, slide it back down, and then tap up, But it's just a matter of doing things as fast as possible, trying to keep things moving. Same thing there. These little tiny platforms, it can be kind of hard to get it perfect. Which, you know, it's going to be like that, just because it's such a small platform. But that was still pretty good. Alright, so you remember how I said you can't separate Ro and the child? Well, this is the exception, and it actually technically saves time, because you don't have to worry about the child getting on there, right? You can just slide her up as soon as the child gets there. Come right here, and again, this is another case of, you know, it can be kind of sensitive, like, you sort of do it in one motion, but it's not really, it's hard to tell exactly where it is, like I got it there, right? But if I try again, like, you can't really judge how much force I was supposed to use. Generally, I find it better just to sort of raise it up. You can just sort of hold your finger on there and kind of control the speed on its own. Alright, and right there you see, normally you would stop on this tile here, that button there. But I managed to get a quick tap forward and bring Ro up here while that cutscene that brings this little parapet or whatever down. So yeah, the alternative to that, if you do end up here, is you'll have to wait, and then as soon as the cutscene is done, you can come up here, and once you hit the second button, for whatever reason, you don't have to wait to come up here. I was trying to stop it there, but that's okay. So that's good backup. And yeah, you can even, with that first tap, kind of hard to show you here, just a moment. Look at this. Oh, for the record, you want to draw a big circle really quickly with your index finger, right? You don't want to go like this, of course. That's not very good. But as soon as you see those little diamonds that popped up on the sides, that's when you want to finish. Or rather, let go of the drawing you're doing. So anyway, I'll just wait till things get in place here. But, I'm a little unsure of this, but I think that if you tap to this tile, rather than straight here on the tap forward from this button, then I think it is slightly faster. Pardon me. I think it is slightly faster than just straight up landing on that button. But I don't really know that for sure. The only reason I say that is because Leftist Tachyon managed to beat my run, my individual level run for that chapter, by doing what I just described. You send her to the tile on the staircase right before that second button. As far as whether that's actually faster, I don't know. It may be like 1 second faster. But I would say probably just go straight for the second button, because it gets both cutscenes going at the same time. So I believe that may be optimal, but what you can do to make sure is go and check out the guide, because it's not very up to date just yet, but there's a guide, a written guide on speedrun.com, and that will be a little more up to date than this video, as there are probably more things to be discovered and whatnot. But you know, generally, like, this is gonna tell you what you need to do to be as efficient as possible. So this here, you would have seen I pulled that down quite early before it was completely revealed. It doesn't really save time, but it's a good way to get things set up pretty quick. And again, you want to keep moving as fast as possible, so I'm just going to mash here. Right after that piece turns around is when you can move forwards there. This is another case of, you know, you'll want to keep tapping roughly where that pathway is going to come up, because you can start moving immediately in most of these ghost levels. You can start moving immediately, even before the level's completely visible. You might not even be able to see it, but you'll be able to get Ro to start moving. Same thing here, just tap there. This is should be a good example of being efficient. You see, they hardly stop there, and it is possible to do that without them really stopping at all. It's just a case of being super quick on your inputs there. Come here to this doorway and tap up here right away. Just get her moving right away, and then tap back, essentially, what's going on there as the child's reaching that second button. We'll do this. This will soft lock your game. You won't be able to go through the door. Except sometimes you can. I don't exactly know how it works, right? I think if you go back to the button, she's technically still stuck, and then you can go through. I don't know why it's like that. Don't do that. Make sure she crosses the platform completely. Now, I can't really show you here, but for this level, you can actually rotate this before they start coming in. It's a very small window as soon as the level's loading in. So similar to when you're tapping going into the ghost levels, you want to be ready to turn this right away. So that is like this. It'll start this way and just turn it there real quick. And then you can just walk straight over here, turn very quickly. You can actually get it turning just as they're walking off, right? And the reason we set this up, typically you'd probably leave it like this because you don't really need to turn it that way again after you get the child here. But the reason we do this is because we're going to do another tap back, right? On this button here. Pardon me, my throat. I'm very sorry. So yeah, you're going to tap back here, and you're going to come back here. If you didn't set this up, you'd only come here, and that wouldn't save much time, would it? I mean, technically it would, as opposed to waiting here, but anyways. So yeah, real quick. This is one of the more consistent tap backs. It's just a little bit easier to get for whatever reason. You want to tap down here before you turn this, just because it's going to be faster. Alright. So yeah, this is a good example of getting a feel for these parts of the level that you can manipulate. Because you can actually do this pretty easily. I mean, I'm quite used to it, but I've found like that wasn't really ideal. This one I find is kind of tricky for whatever reason. But essentially, just to sort of show you, you're turning 1, 2, 3, 4 times down. 1, 2, and you can even actually keep going same way if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, then up 2, and then back the other way 2. Right? Because it's sort of, they both sort of operate opposite of each other, right? You can think of this as sort of an L block, and this is an I block, and they're operating independently, different directions, right? So when this is at the bottom, that other one's going to be at the top, and so on. So, yeah. Anyway, as you hit this button, you will see that or rather, once the child comes up here, and they have the hug, you'll see this, pedestal start coming up. Just start tapping as soon as possible. Just start tapping, and you'll get there. I just tap mash like crazy, and that's what's gonna work best most of the time on things like that. We're right here. Yep. So I have my. Should point out I have my hand taken off my dominant hand, my right hand. You may want to use your left hand if you're a little more dexterous with it. And you just want to really quickly draw a circle. As soon as it sort of explodes out and you see the 5 points, you just want to start doing that. So, oops, kind of did that wrong. But, yeah, so you don't want that to happen, right? That was okay. But a bigger circle generally is better. You'll see a better example in a minute. Well, not in a minute, but at the end of the next chapter. Moving along. Usually about 10 minutes in at this point. We got a really good run going anyway. Going to start to see why, remembering which direction you need to turn things is important, right? So tap down there, pull up, and of course you'll want to do this very quickly. Tap down there, pull up, turn once. I guess you would be turning to the left in that case. I'm pushing the block to the left. Come up, real quick. right? And this still works. It's a bit more ideal if you just go like that. But again, it's a matter of getting used to, you know, how these things sort of work, how to do them quickly. So just like that. This particular puzzle is a little bit hectic. So I think what I'll do is here's what I'll do. I'll just do it quickly, real quick. Okay, so that's the idea, right? I'm just gonna resume from here. I'll explain it a bit more carefully just so you can understand. Okay. Oops. Can't interact with my drawing thing on. Okay, so you want to start by tapping on this tile here. She'll make her way over there. As she's moving, you can turn it this way. You can actually turn it this way twice. It's not a big deal, but more ideal just to go once. So she'll enter the blue room, or blue doorway rather, here. Come out here, and you want to tap on the button, of course, and then you can tap back, again, very quickly, just as she's reaching the button, essentially, is when you want to do that. You want to be careful not to be too early, and you'll be able to feel it out, but you want to come right back as soon as possible, and then tap right on this. Hopefully you can see where I'm tapping. I'm sure you can see the red dots appearing. Tap back there, then you're going to turn it back again, and tap into the yellow doorway. Then there's that button that appears right here, and then the little winch down here. Now I turned it to the right 4 times, right? But you could even do it to the left 4 times. That's essentially what you're doing. You can give it a real good swing and potentially get a little sooner, but you know, you should see exactly how I'm doing it. That was exactly how we do it. That works too, I guess. Fine. Here she comes. Tapping. Right, see, it went a little over there. And that's what you need to watch for with all these kinds of things, and they all feel a bit different again. I mean, those two will probably feel mostly the same, but you know, you get the idea. So the door behind the child is going to close, and then we can start doing things. Turn it there, and just tap onto this first tile. You can just go like that. That's pretty efficient. And return twice there. You'll want to wait until she's coming to the top of the ladder, and then you can pull down. Tap in there. If she hasn't climbed to the top of the ladder, she will get stuck if you try to pull down the hedge or whatever. That's there. Now in this case, you can start turning this pretty early, as it's still sort of fading in. Just tap on there, tap, back here, through the window, or door rather. Oops. You see she stopped there. That's why you want to make sure you keep on tapping, right? Now it is possible you would be here, right? Maybe here. It is possible to do one swift motion like that, and that's probably ideal. But otherwise, it's going to be 2 spins. I've got a pretty good feel for this one, as you can see. Back through the door, coming out like that. Pretty straightforward. And it's just a matter of muscle memory. So here, you just need to turn that way, that way. You can even do it on the other side. Right? You start like this, you can go like that, and to the end, and just keep turning the same direction, and you'll make it there. I typically go for the other side for whatever reason. I favor the right side naturally because I'm right-handed. So. And it does take a second before you can interact with this one. Okay. So for this one, naturally we're going to head for the button. Then the little lever here, or part you can manipulate, and that brings this whole piece up. And then you very quickly want to bring it back down, because there's another little piece that appears right about here. And there's going to be a button there. You want to move to that button as quickly as possible. So I'll try and demonstrate here. Right? It's going to appear, so you can go like this, you can go like that, but that's not quite going to make it. You actually need to break, you know, away from the piece there like that. Now, as soon as you hit that button, you're going to start tapping right here. Okay, you're not going to be able to move right away, but the idea is to get yourself moving as you set up the next one of these we're going to have to do, which is again to come up and then go down very quickly. So, oops. Okay. Okay, that was not ideal, but you get the idea. I'm actually going to resume this part here, so I want to get it right. It's so satisfying to get this particular trick right. Come on. Oh, I was having weird issues with the input there. Down here. Up. She goes. There. That's a lot better. She should hardly stop as she comes up there, right? Like, just like that. That's ideal there. Maybe I'll get this one correct. A nice big circle. There we go. That went a little farther than I needed to go. As you'll see, the shape sort of changed from what I had initially. Because the earlier parts of the mandala you're drawing will disappear as you're, drawing more and more. So, I call the mandala, maybe it's more of a pentagram type thing, but it's all sacred geometry. On here, this level doesn't really need explaining. Just do that. Here we go. As soon as she reaches the stairs here, it's going to turn into a cutscene. As it sort of pans downward towards the boat. I'll just start tapping. You can sort of tap on the boat and it'll work. But yeah, she stops back at this tile here that's slightly raised. And yeah, for whatever reason, I find with this, it tends to be that she will stop a little longer than normal. I'm not sure why. It might just be that I'm doing something differently. You might try tapping a little earlier, like maybe up here. It might work a bit better. But it's up to you. It may not even be possible to do it without her stopping there. I'm really not sure. But yeah. I'm still fairly new to running the Monument Valley games. I got started with this one, as I think I mentioned before. And yeah. So there's a lot I don't quite know. I've only pretty recently started running Monument Valley 1 and all of its DLC. So maybe I don't understand something correctly, or anyway, the best place to do, or best thing to do rather, is to go and check out the guide that we'll have up. Well, it is up technically, but it's kind of a mess right now. It's still a work in progress. Anyway, we'll jump into the chapter 7. The towers. I want to tap at the top of the staircase here, and then pull it to the left once there. And again to the left, and you can just tap right on the button way at the back here. And here you're going to need some tap backs. It's always most efficient to tap back wherever you can, pretty much as soon as she's reaching it. That way she won't stop, not even for a moment. So that's what you want. So, you want to go the other way, this way. Stop right there, into here. Now we have my least favorite ghost puzzle, because for whatever reason this one feels real finicky. Anyway, you can sort of try and tap onto this first tile right here before you actually move up. But it's kind of hard to do, and honestly if you're just here and you go up here, it's not the end of the world, although technically it would be a bit more efficient. to if you were to get into this tile before this big X has completely set in here. But you know, you want to prioritize just getting the X up here to begin with. So I wouldn't worry too much if you're starting from that tile that's just slightly behind. Up right here. I tried to record this once before, so I apologize if my voice is a little bit shot. Oops. See, I overshot that one there, but you're going to start like this, right? And in fact, what you could do is, as you're entering this doorway back here, is actually set it up so you're already here. You can just move along right there like that. Odd. So it's... yeah, it's going to be from... starting here anyway. You're going to want to go to the left, right? You're going to come up here, turning to the left, and back to the right again, and then back to the left, right. I'm not really sure. It's kind of hard to explain, but see what's going on. It's hard to tell exactly what direction is everything's going in a consistent way. That's all right. You can see, you know, I'm just sort of lining things up, and it's just a matter of getting used to it, and, you know, knowing which way things are going to move when you turn. It's particularly on ones like these where you have a lot of elements that are moving. You know, really the most important thing you can do is to just memorize it. That's pretty much all this game is, really, is memorization. Or at least running it, that is. Now, this one, you can actually start to manipulate and move row as it's coming in. So, you know, I believe the most ideal thing to do would be to move this over first of all, and you're going to have to do some pretty quick taps here. Right? That was pretty good there. Right? And stop there, don't want that to happen. Then up there. Pretty simple. Yeah. Again, it's all very straightforward, and it's just a matter of memorizing things, getting used to how things feel, working on your muscle memory. Again, that was a bit longer than it needed to be, but that's still pretty quick. So, it's not something you need to worry about too much. Just make sure you're not stopping too early or stopping too late. I would be a little more on the ball if I had the volume a bit higher, but I've got it very low just to make sure you can hear my descriptions here. I'm just gonna have audience. Oh, that's my girlfriend. Better tell her I love her too. Okay. So here you've got the totem level. We're gonna do this pretty quick here. Just because it's my instinct. But you know, best thing to do is practice. I can't stress it enough. Is, you know, I mean, not even practice so much as you need to just you know, be aware of everything you need to be doing to try and get everything moving quickly, efficiently. It's all about optimization. Forward there, slide over here, turn, slide, he'll do a little jump, and then you can move him like that. Down here. Right, you want to prioritize getting row into that doorway. I kind of missed it there. But you want to set the totem right on that tile so you can just very quickly slide it over there. You can even do it faster than that. Unfortunately, it's just a bit hard to tell exactly when you're going to be able to make that input. Like there, you can just hold. You can see that the little circles that you can grab onto are lit up on the totem there. But sometimes you can't see that when you're in a cutscene and you're holding it down. So it kind of helps to just try and quickly, you know, do that. But again, it's not the most efficient. You know, just a matter of optimization, figuring things out. What I do here is I'll move forward and then slide over here. You can have them on either this tile or this tile, doesn't matter. And over here, same thing, this tile or this tile. More efficiently, it would be on this tile, so in that sense, you know, it's most efficient to have it there and then move over there. Anyway, right? Move back there. It'd be pretty easy to overshoot that button, but I'm just gonna tap at the end there. Oops, and I didn't quite get on, but that's okay. Because the road did not stop moving. Kept her going. So tap at the top of this curve at the bottom there. Up there. You just want to get things nice and set up, give yourself space. You know, because technically you could wait to do that. You're going to have to tap forward there. Oops. And make sure she gets on there too. Now as this piece starts turning, these 3 tiles here, they each sort of turn separately. Same with the one with the button on it. So what you want to do is sort of tap along like that. Just to try and keep her moving, right? Okay, and we're here. Just start tapping. Take her a moment to show up. You know, she stopped for a second there, and that's what you don't want to see. So we'll just wait there. And this whole sequence is just painfully slow, unfortunately. My cat's whining, I don't know if you can hear that. But, you know, as soon as you can, try to get him slid over onto the button. You'll turn there. He's going to start opening his mouth, so you just want to start tapping now. The yellow is appearing there, out of his mouth. And that's where you would end time, just as she's entering the doorway, essentially. There's a bit of an audio cue as well, so if you're hearing that at about the time, like a little symbol or something. But yeah, you know, if you're hitting your timer as you're hearing that, you're probably doing it right. Coming into this one, just start tapping already, because you want to get this little sequence to stop, because it will keep going, it will keep cycling through all the colors. You want to get it immediately so that it only does it once, and then you're right into the black that you see here, and into the first level. So. Here you can tap back as you're coming through the doors. It tends to, at least with the very last one from what I understand, it tends to make things move just a little bit faster into the next sequence. So you want to turn up there, and then down again. Tap back there. Yeah, I don't know if it applies to all of them. Like, I don't think that one was any faster. But the tap backs that make cutscene go faster, I don't really understand. I think that's more of a thing in Monument Valley 1. Pardon me. So yeah. Like here, it seems to me that when you tap back there, that piece turns faster, but oh yeah, see, that totally worked. She flipped over a little faster there on at least the second one, but you would have to tap back on that second button. The tap forward wouldn't work there, just so you know, but that does actually speed it up. That's interesting. I've never gotten that before. Right up here to that piece of the ladder, turn down quick, make sure that's set up, head for the button. So she's gonna climb up, and I'm gonna switch back and then tap back. That's the ideal right there, as you just saw. Back here. Up and down. There you go. And yeah, so that transition moving in towards the boat seems to go a bit faster when you tap back, going into the doorway. But again, I don't quite understand how that works. So I'm sure someone else could explain it on the Discord. Monument Valley's speedrunning Discord. There's a link on the speedrun.com page. So come hang out, ask questions, and we'll all be happy to answer if we can. It's a nice little community, I gotta say. Unfortunately, we have to keep waiting. We can actually bring up the pause menu here, that's interesting. So yeah, she's gonna go back. They're gonna look at each other. So as soon as she sort of puts her head down, I'll start tapping over on there. So I think it's when she reaches that first sort of this tile here. And you can start moving again. But big circle. Yeah, that was pretty good. Generally, if it looks like a pentagram and or a flower, you probably did it right. When you're make tap and it feet. Oh. Well, there's a Discord. Yeah, normally when I'm recording these runs, I will turn off my Wi-Fi and data. Like, I have Do Not Disturb mode on right now, but it doesn't seem to work correctly. Like, if I'm on my phone doing something, it'll still disturb me. Like, anyway, I might find out some way to disable notifications while I'm in game. But for this one, I'll start moving right away here. You can sort of eat Row. As far as I can tell, you can sort of eat her. I don't know how well it works though. If I were to say... We can actually come all the way back here. Not that there's any point in that. Anyway. I found somehow, and I don't know why it doesn't seem to be working for me today. I was trying to do it earlier and it wasn't working. But as Row is coming down through the... Why don't you go back there? As Row is coming up here... Oh, she's stuck. Sorry about this. But, you know, she starts back here. The totem starts up here. Oh. Yeah, okay. Sorry, never mind. You tend to move her up here, and then you can just sort of... I thought you could just sort of eat her, but I guess that's wrong. Okay, apparently I sound a lot like Archie Game. I'm not really familiar with Archie Game. Anyway, so you can start moving here pretty much immediately from back here. So you want to get there and then slide forward. It may even be better just to turn this right after you move Row and then just slide forward. It saves you having to do multiple slides. Then up here, back there, right to that exact tile I got her on. Back here. That can be done a little more efficiently. This is a particularly difficult puzzle I find to be like perfectly efficient with. I mean, it's been getting better, but it's just one of my bugaboos or whatever. Start moving forward here. Again, for whatever reason, she can start moving very quickly coming into all these levels on this particular chapter. But anyway, again, that could be a little more efficient. But yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking, should I have explained that last level a bit better? You should be able to see what I'm doing pretty clearly, right? I'm actually going to restart this level just so I can show you again. And get rid of my distractions here. Oops, turn it back on. Oh my god. Let me go, and I'm so used to tapping so quickly. There we go, they're off, so... No more disturbances. How are we doing on time here? Okay, we're nearly done. I don't want this to be much more than an hour. But anyway, we'll have to start from the top here. Yeah, I don't know how I've gotten the doorway to sort of eat her with this. Yeah, I mean, that worked, so... That's more or less what that was. Pretty well perfect there. Right onto that staircase. Very important you just go right onto the staircase there. That was a bit slow. Slide him back there. There, back through that door. Up to this piece here. And then across. And this next one, I'll just start tapping roughly where that is. Yeah, you can see that she just started moving right away. You'll move down here, tap onto the top. slide over, up here, slide up, slide over. Yeah. A bit slow in places, but that was more or less ideal, so hopefully you see what I had going on there. And this is similar to the other ghost levels, where you can move up very quickly. You know, this one you can actually slide up as that fade in, fade out transition is happening. Start moving pretty quickly, so. This is one I've kind of been dropping the ball on a bit lately. I don't know why, but it's fine. Starts tapping at the top of the staircase. Slide our totem friend right in there. There we are. And yeah, if I didn't mention, you would normally do your splits right when you reach the pedestal at the end of the level. There are exceptions, of course, but yeah. But again, I went a bit longer than I needed to drawing that pentagram. It's not the end of the world. It's not going to be a huge time loss, but it will add up. You want to stop those right when you see those diamonds on the side. So hopefully you can't hear me playing with my hair in the mic. I tend to flip my hair. It might be brushing against the microphone a little bit. Yeah, this is a pretty long cutscene. Generally, once the seagulls are off screen, I'd start tapping. It's sort of a bit higher. Yeah, and usually, most of these you'll see it start fading darker. And that's when the complete button is going to appear. Got one cat in the room. The other one tends to be a bad boy. Alright, now you would have seen I kind of accidentally tilted the thingy up. You know what I mean? In the level select there? You want to avoid that, right? They sort of turn gold on the sides. You want to avoid that. Again, it's like doing the mandalas just a little bit too long. It will add up. So, yeah. Something to try and avoid. This particular puzzle is very straightforward. Just moving along, keeping things moving. For this next one, you can start rotating this. As you see, it was already rotating for some reason. Now here, you saw I was tapping on here, but as soon as she came out, my tap stopped working for whatever reason. Right now it's not working again. Now for some reason on that particular tile, it tends to drop inputs for whatever reason. I don't really know why. And it's just that tile. Okay. So in this room we have a couple of tapbacks, both of which are on the two buttons in this level. So we'll try and get them both, so hopefully you can see. There, I got that one. And these are pretty big time saved on both of them, because it's quite a long way to walk in both cases, as you can see. So try and get it here. No, not quite. I think I was a bit early. Anyway, ideally she'd be up here by the time you know, that's about to open. As you would have seen as well, this doorway took a little bit longer to open than this doorway. It is possible to go through this first doorway here and come back out, because this one hasn't opened completely. So you want to be prepared for that to happen. This will only affect you if you get that tap back from this button here. But yeah, you also want to make sure this is in place, or you won't be able to move it. So you want it to be here, or alternatively here. Either way will work. But just make sure you go through and you keep tapping into the final doorway. This one's pretty straightforward. Again, a matter of muscle memory. Hold down, and then turn it, and back, down and one more turn and back through. Pretty straightforward. Do a little tap back there. Might back it faster, I don't know. I can't tell. So tap up here. I'm going to turn it twice. So that is like so. Should basically be like an S, I suppose. Bring it back down. Turn it again twice, so you want to make sure you keep moving there. And back across right to this tile here. Up again, over there. And spinning. Yeah. And you should see the child disappears there for a hot second. That pretty much means you're ideal. Right next to this big tall pillar, it's going to keep tapping, right? See where I tap there? Oops. Don't want to do that, of course. But as usual, you know, you want to start moving as soon as possible. And you can do that very quickly in a lot of these levels. And I'm not sure if I mentioned, with the dialogue with the ghosts here, it takes a moment to, hang on. Yeah, you want to start spinning this as soon as possible, because look, she hasn't even come in yet. There she is. You could set that up before she's even in the room, and that is ideal. So ideal. Especially because that one tends to overshoot, just... It always overshoots. So, you need that extra time to sort of correct it. But, like, as soon as you're done talking to that ghost in the previous room, just start pulling down on where that little winch or what do you even call that? I don't know. Yeah, I'll call it the winch. Just start pulling where that winch is and you'll get it going, because that one takes a while. As you probably know if you played it casually already, or even in a speedrun already, it takes a dang while. Okay, deep orchard. So down here to this button. I'm gonna tap back right up here. So the whole thing with this level is, of course, the windows and the trees. Now I probably could have set that up faster, but I'm just gonna sort of walk through what we're doing, right? Because it starts, I believe it starts here. So I just want to bring it down a notch, up a notch, up. And then back down again. Whoops, not that much though. Just by essentially one peg here. Yeah, and that sort of rings true for this whole run, or rather this whole chapter. Just trying to be efficient, right? Like that was not good. So yeah. Yeah, there's really not much to explain here, because generally for this one, like, it's just a matter of timing things out. I'll actually just sort of walk back here. Right, so we start like this. She comes into the room. In fact, I think this even starts over here, I don't quite remember. But anyway, she's gonna come over here. And it doesn't really matter what order, aside from with this piece right here, you want to slide it over first. It doesn't really matter as long as you're getting onto this, I mean, a little more efficiently than I did just there. You know, it doesn't really matter whether you're sliding left or right or up and down first. It doesn't matter a whole lot as far as I know. It may change. Yeah, I should point out, once you hit this button, you want to come right here. It will take a second for the yellow tree to appear. But once you're here, after hitting the button, you can just tap right on this button here. So coming right up here. I actually found quite recently you can actually just turn this way, and this I find is a little bit faster because you don't actually need to move over here, right? You can come over here, right? By instinct you kind of go like this, right? At least that's what happened with me. That's typically how I ran this level, but actually you can, it starts here, and you can go right here. And she'll point out that this little thing, the little circles you would grab onto, they sort of come up the pillar, right? But you can start manipulating them once they're about here, as soon as they're visible, you can start manipulating that little cut. I accidentally hit the stop button on the recording, so that was a whoopsie. Anywho, yes, I was saying, you know, typically it's going to be here, but as the little winch is coming up, you can set it like this and get on there pretty much right away. And then you can probably do a swift little, just like that. And that would be ideal. I'm going to set that up, set all that up, as we wait for the little bridge to appear, and start tapping across there. And I'll set this up so that this yellow piece is right here. You can go across like that, turn, and then back across again, right here, then turn, just like that, right? So it's twice back this way. That's me pulling to the right there. Now it's also important, as soon as she steps off, to turn it this way. That will save you time, because as you're coming up here, see that little doorway. Normally, you know, you would get off and hit that button, it would be over here. But it does save you just a little bit of time, so you can just walk straight into that doorway. Very useful. And then for this level, you do your split as soon as baby child becomes adult child. So, you know, hit your split, or your timer there. Pretty straightforward. Again, it's all, you know, it's very straightforward, as I keep saying. But, yeah, it's just a matter of getting things memorized. I will point out in this level, sorry, it is possible, before the Sunken City title card pops up or whatever, you can actually move the child back down to this tile here by accident, so just be very careful you don't do that. So, because that'll be a time waster. You want to come all the way to the end here, because then you'll right away be there. Set this up right here. No sufficiency, just come right down, grab that. And you can grab this piece pretty quickly, as you saw just there before she's completely out of the door. Down here, right to the end there. And again, just flip it down, right? And you can keep her moving as you're flipping these things. And didn't quite get a chance to show you there, just because I was taking a little slow. But you can tap forward onto this tile, and this is the tile you'll want to be on. Like so. Right, and then you don't have to worry about her moving or anything. It's a little finicky sometimes, just with how things work here. I'm going to start tapping pretty quickly again here. We're in another ghost room. You can start moving up this before you even turn it. So, and you just need to turn it once that way. You're golden. Pardon-moi. I was just eating, so my mouth, you know, lactose will get you. So I can actually set this up here and just tap up here. You can turn this twice before she comes off of it, then up here. Now it is possible, as she's reaching this button, to turn this during the cutscene that would play as this piece is sort of moving in this way. So I'm going to try and get it. I've only really gotten it once, but we shall see. Yeah, I didn't get it there. It's a pretty small window because you have to be careful not to, you know, turn it while Ro is still on it, right? Because then she can move down here. So you don't want that. Let's see if I can just sort of do it off the cuff here, right? Like that would be too early, right? You could get it like that. You know, there's once I got it, and that was, you know, a pog moment, getting in like that, right off the bat. Very nice, you know, but you don't want to do that. That's no good. This is really what you have to be careful on this level with. Alright, so we're getting on. It's not too late. Okay, this is gonna be okay. I need to run to the store before it closes, so. Real quick. Yeah, and again, I took too long on that. But you can do it real quick, that's the thing, right? You can actually do it real quick by doing a big circle. So, and the thing is, I just sort of keep going. So it might be better just to try and do one little circle. But you want to make sure your timing is right, or you'll botch it. And you might end it too early, and then you'll have to start over, and that's like always a bummer. Pardon. Excuse, probably got some swallowing sounds there. Just almost went down my windpipe. Make sure you tap that out real quick. Otherwise you'll be watching this thing go for ages. Another unfortunately long cutscene. It's real cute when you're playing this game casually, but then it's like, hurry up! Is there any way to make this faster? No, sadly there's not. Maybe someday we'll figure out a hug skip. I won't have to watch any more hugs. But it's so wholesome. It's so wholesome. How could I want to skip the hug? Speedrunning, that's how. Okay, so you want to start tapping roughly where these pedestals are. You can start them moving real quick there. But as you can see here, you didn't really need to have Ro and the child both on these pedestals to get it going. I think it starts going as soon as they're both about here, I want to say, but I don't know for sure. So this is pretty straightforward. You just have to turn it around, right? But this one I find to be particularly sensitive. This is right here. Yeah. Here I find it best to get Ro moving real quick, because her path is a bit longer than the child's. Not bad. You want to make sure you don't do this, because this will send the child over here. And if she steps off of it, it's going to be a real pain in the butt trying to get her back in. So, yeah. It should be pointed out that they do clip into each other if you set them both here. I'm actually going to restart this particular seat, right? And then the child stops because they clip together. So it's not necessarily ideal. I'm just going to exit and resume. Okay, it's going to start here. Oh, the child's actually already moved forward a bit for whatever reason. Okay. So anyway, just tapping up there. I just sort of do a rapid tapping. You can sort of see what I'm doing, I guess, just by the tapping things there. Up. Across like this. I get it. I just want to make sure. That's why I tap a lot to make sure I'm getting these things. So you can set the child here. You can also set the child back here. I find it works pretty good both ways. Now, of course, she's right behind. So she's going to stop right there. For whatever reason, she's going to stop. So you just want to keep tapping. But it's best to just have the child... I found anyway, it's best to have the child just a tile behind that last tile before that doorway piece sort of comes in. It's just, I believe, a bit more efficient because she won't stop moving quite as much. So we want to come here, and then over here you can just turn as she's walking there. Over here, go twice, and then back over here. And I got the tap back there, which is pretty cool. Ideally, you wanted to be on this tile. I was a bit short there. That's okay. Turn her up. Over here. Yeah, and I did get the tap back. That was very, very juicy. So yeah. I hit this real quick. Bring this down. Turn it over. Turn it over. And both of them on their buttons. Very important they're both on their buttons or it's not going to work. Alright. They both need to be here. You want to hit this button. Put the child back there. Bring her over here. As that's happening, bring this back up and turn it. You know, again, it's always a matter of just being as efficient as possible. So here you can actually get a little tap back there. And that's going to make it just a bit faster. You know, that's as far as you're actually able to tap back because this piece, as you saw, drops down. So, you know, ideally we could get her back here, but that's not going to happen. But it just sets Ro a tile ahead, so, you know, they won't actually clip here, but it's just that tiny bit quicker. to get into the next room here. Right, unfortunately, for whatever reason, it takes forever. I want to set up like that, and you're going to have to wait for this piece to turn. Right, it's this tile here in particular. If you come back here, it's going to be a bit far. Stay back here, it's going to be a bit far. Right here is the ideal. Come over here, turn this. Come sit over here. Row can come back. Like so. Right? You can do it definitely a lot faster than that, but you know, and even from here it works if you end up like this. For whatever reason. But you know, it's like this by default, so it's best to just sort of do it like that. It's very straightforward. For this one, just start tapping forward as soon as possible. Getting them in the door at roughly the same time. So you can start spinning this down pretty early, as you saw. Much like the other early things we've seen earlier in the run. I usually just set row right here, and then bring the child up here. And just keep this moving, just make sure it's up there for them. As she's reaching that tile she's on now, the child that is, I want to bring row forward onto the button here. Right, it's very important that you do not, you know, that's not going to work. Right, this is where we need this to be. It has to be like this, but you can't get on it if row's already standing on here. You probably figured that in your casual playthrough, but it's very important. Move over like that, row can come back, a bit before then even. Set that up. And you can set all this up, it's not too hard to, well, I mean, this level is pretty hard. But you know, again, it's so important, if I haven't stressed it enough, which, you know, I can't. It's so important that you know, you're setting things up so that they can keep moving and never stop. It's also important you don't tap forward here as much as you may want to. We're almost at the end here, but they both need to make it to that platform. If you do a tap forward, it's possible that one of the pedestals that they're standing on with the buttons will move, but the other one won't. And then only one of them will be able to get on the dang thing. So yeah. Yeah. How many times can I say yeah in the span of a minute? Slide up. And time will be here. And that's it. That's Monument Valley 2. As I mentioned, there is this last mandala we have to do, but yeah, we can just do whatever. We can do a little. How beautiful. Yeah. So thanks for watching. Make sure you check out speedrun.com to see all the times that everyone's got and everything. You know the deal. And come join us on Discord, even if you just enjoy watching these runs. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully it was a good enough walkthrough. Yeah. Again, it's pretty straightforward, and it's just about optimizing things, keeping things moving. So, you know, I can explain it as much as I can, but for the most part, you know, it's just going to be a matter of feeling things out for yourself. That's what that's what I would recommend more than anything is just get a feel for it. So, you know, it's only so much that I can explain without being verbose and repetitive and yada yada. So yeah, thanks a bunch. Drop me a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe. Bye.